It was a busy day at the Lego store today, I'll tell you what. Oh. Don't worry about it. Hey, we got something today. You know, Halloween's coming up. This is the last episode before Halloween, and I figured I'd spread some Halloween cheer by trying to wear a one-size-fits-all for boys. I'm a boy. I fit in that category. It says one size fits most. Okay, maybe not all, but I feel like I fit in the most category. Like if there's a spectrum of boy human beings, and it's a bell curve, I probably fit in the 50%. Or I suppose, for this tagline to be true, the 51%. Oh boy, if I was 12 years old again, I had a 501st costume, I think in 2008 or 9, so I was like 10 or 11. If I was 10 or 11 again and I could wear this for Halloween, it would be so cool. So first up, we have the torso for, this is actually, this might actually fit. I was honestly not expecting this to fit well at all, but this is kind of like one of those, I was just at Kohl's today, the sleeveless like jackets that are nice for running in the cold or whatever that I see people wear. This is gonna be a little tight. Well, come on, uh-oh. Okay, there's a severe problem. The head hole is too, oh wait, does it open? Okay, thank God. A little tight up top, smush it. I think I need to cut this out like a V-neck if I'm gonna wear it this whole episode. They could have done, like, this isn't clear at all. I can't really see through this. It's so blurry. I am now Lego Boba Fett. Let's go. Dude, this is so sick. I just need to cut this part a little bit so it doesn't, like, go right up onto my neck. But, dude, this is slick. Too bad I don't have high school dances to go to, because I'd be rolling up in this little number. Yeah, I think this was worth the $25. This is very enjoyable. I almost forgot I bought this thing for the background too. It definitely doesn't smell good, that's for sure. Oh, I think the fan is gonna be too loud. Did I break it? It just turned off. Oh, I unplugged it. Okay. Whew. All good. I tried to get it to work, but the fan on that thing is just too loud, so we're not going to have it. Anyway, our first question comes from Luke Doodles, and he says, what is your opinion on the Home Alone Lego set? I actually think I'm going to go pick it up on November 1st at the Lego store. I wasn't going to go, but now they're releasing that and I want it, I think I'm going to go. And it looks pretty dang cool. It's almost 4,000 pieces, which blew my mind. Like, 4,000 pieces is so nonchalant now. I remember a time when 4,000 pieces was like, yeah, 4,000 pieces. That's like literally the biggest set ever. And now it's like, 4,000 pieces and a $250 Lego Ideas set. Yeah, just another Saturday for Lego. Like, yeah, it's pretty wild. So I'm very excited about it. Looks like it has a lot of fun details and stuff. I got to rewatch the movie for sure. It's been a long time for me. It's probably been almost 10 years since I've seen it. So yeah, definitely a cool looking one though, nonetheless. A Wild Cole Appeared says, what is your opinion on Lego leaks? I'm personally not the greatest fan. They tend to bring an anticlimactic reveal as someone knows what is being revealed. Or are you disappointed when it isn't what they told you it would be, such as Lego Super Mario's Peach's Castle actually being the Super Mario 64 block? Just wanted your opinion on the subject. Thanks. So I'll address the last thing first, being that sometimes a leak or rumor is completely wrong, and I don't want to be the guy, but like, that's on you. If you believe something 100% like that, and you know it's a leak, you know it's a rumor, you know it could not be true, then it's 100% on you that you're disappointed. And don't get me wrong, I've been in the same position. I've believed things to be true that didn't turn out to be true, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but it's ultimately 100% on me and not on anybody else. The thing I have with an anticlimactic reveal is, like, a lot of people complain about, you know, if somebody leaks it, then I already know it's coming. So when I find out from Lego it's coming, then it's not as exciting. And it's like, well, like, why is it that if Lego reveals something, it's exciting, but if it's a leak, it's not exciting? And I think most people do get excited about leaks, don't get me wrong, but for the people that have the other opinion there, like, no matter what, you're hearing it for the first time, so why is it less exciting just because you're not hearing it directly from the big red square? You know, just not in the same boat from my end. Obviously, I live a very different life, I suppose, in a lot of aspects like that. I've been following Lego leaks for well over a decade now. It's just ingrained in me. I'm not going to be thinking they're a bad thing. All of that being said, nobody is under any obligation to follow any account that posts leaks. There's plenty of Lego accounts that don't post anything of the sort that you could certainly follow and unfollow everyone else, which I guess insinuates me. But like, that's just the position you're going to find yourself in. There is no amount of conversation and arguing and talking that is going to change the fact that some people are going to want to know what's coming up before the big red square wants to tell them what's coming up, and that's just the way it is. And if you don't want to be in that cycle of hype and excitement, you certainly don't have to be. You'll just have to weed out the accounts that talk about it. I think leaks are a good thing. I think they help Lego. I think they give them a lot of exposure that they wouldn't have otherwise. The Brick Cave says, I saw in your new vlog you said that you ordered the new MacBook, and that brings us to today's sponsor, M&R Vlogs, a YouTube channel with over 70,000 subscribers that posts weekly vlogs about, oh, what, my life? That's so weird. Jokes aside, he says, what MacBook Pro did you get, 14-inch or 16-inch, M1 Pro or M1 Max? How much storage and RAM? Also, will you ever get an Apple desktop computer? So I'll address the last question first. I used to have an Apple desktop computer, and when I got this desktop computer, it took up all of the space because I went dual monitor, so I got rid of it. And when that happened, my current MacBook Pro became my main machine, which was not the intention when I bought this thing, which means it does not have enough storage for being the main computer of somebody that does YouTube for a living and edits video, and like 500 gigabytes just isn't enough. So I have been patiently waiting and kind of tying into the last question, watching all of the rumors for the upcoming MacBook Pros over the last few months, and it doesn't make me any less excited to be purchasing one, I'll tell you that. So I ended up canceling my original order, which means it's not going to come for even longer now because I wanted to upgrade it even more than I had, but I ended up getting the 16-inch with 2 terabytes of storage. I figured that that should be more than enough. 2 terabytes is a lot, and so for what I do, I still don't edit in 4K, but I might switch back to 4K at some point, and I want to be somewhat future-proof for that, so 2 terabytes seems like it would be a reasonable amount. The most I had ever had on a computer before was 1 terabyte on my previous Apple desktop. I have 32 gigs of RAM. I felt like 64 would be mad overkill, and 32 is already twice what I have on my current laptop, so that should be plenty. And then for my processor, I got the absolute maximum with a 32-core GPU, 10-core CPU, just an absolute monster of a laptop, hopefully. So it is my main machine. Obviously, YouTube is my job. I think most people do not need what I'm getting. A lot of people would probably be very happy with like an M1 MacBook Air. If you're looking into getting a MacBook, it's probably not too many of you guys. But for someone who does it as their job, I felt like it was worth the investment. It's a tax write-off. I'm trading in my old computer, so that's going to save me like $1,200 as well. Z-Sumbar says, what are your top 5 sets with the most sentimental values? So first up, the Twin Pod Cloud Car has to be at the top of this list. It's the first Lego set I ever owned. Bought it with my grandma. Of course, she's passed now, which probably adds to some of this. And got it at KB Toys in the mall. And KB Toys obviously gone as well. KB Toys was a disaster. And then the 2006 Slave One, I remember buying it at Toys R Us after a baseball practice with my grandma. I think I had like a gift card for like $50, which covered it perfectly, if I remember correctly. That one, really cool sentimental set. I even bought a sealed one recently. It's back there. You probably can't see it. And I had intended to open it, and I got it in my hands, and I was like, no way can I ever open this set. It is just that high of a sentimental value for me. And then a couple others, obviously the Fall First Battle Pack and the Republic Gunship, even though it's more recently. I have mixed feelings on whether or not those should be on the top 5, given how I feel about Lego, but we'll leave that at the door for now and leave them on the list. If I really thought about it, they'd probably be left off, though. There's probably some older sets that I care more about. And I think to close it out, I would go with the 2009 Clone Walker Battle Pack. That set came out right when I was starting YouTube, and I remember being so excited for that battle pack when it came out. I ended up buying like 20 of them over the course of its 2 years of existence, and now it's worth like $100, which is just insane to me. But yeah, those are my top 5 sentimental sets. I'm kind of curious if you guys have any. Let me know in the comments section below. File First Trooper Studio says, do you think they should do a rebooted series of Star Wars Rebels? I think you need to look into the upcoming Ahsoka series, my dude. Julian says, I'm a college student in San Diego, love Lego, and super hyped about the upcoming 18+ sets. If I had about $1,000 to drop this winter, what set should I prioritize out of the UCS Falcon, UCS AT-AT, and the Titanic? Ultimately, I want all 3, but I'm worried about storage space while in college. Should I just keep them stored in boxes and buy them now, or wait 3 years until I'm out of college? So I would advise heavily against waiting 3 years to buy all of these. As a general rule of thumb, buy the oldest thing first. So if you're going to buy one of these 3 sets this winter with your $1,000, buy the UCS Falcon. That one has been out for 4 years now. I don't think it's going to retire anytime soon, but it's the oldest one, making it the most likely to retire. I would go after the AT-AT or Titanic in just whatever order you want to get them after that. And I would certainly, you're in college, if you're especially in a college dorm, those are very limited on space, and you're looking at 3 of the biggest Lego sets ever made. Keep them in the box. Trust me, you can appreciate a Lego set in a box. I do it all the time. So buy the Falcon first, buy the others as you can, and keep them in the box. Just appreciate them for what they are, and it'll be a really cool thing for you to have in 3 years. Just imagine that you graduate college, you're going out and doing job searching, and you got some dope Lego sets to build while you're doing that. He says, do you think an employee at Lego is assigned to watch and report on your videos? I don't want to say yes because I don't know it to be true, but I wouldn't be surprised. Also, I'm sure a lot of them watch anyway, so whatever. But like, yeah, I don't know. I would highly doubt it would be in someone's like official, like, hey, you need to be doing this. You know, it's not the craziest thing I would ever hear that Lego has done, because I've heard some crazy stuff. Anyway, moving on. The fourth brother says, I saw an article saying that Lego hired someone to manage leaks. How could this impact Lego Star Wars leaks in the future? So the obvious thing here is that it could reduce them. Like, that's how it could impact them. I highly doubt we'll be getting more leaks because of this, although it would be rather ironic and funny. The deal with this is it's a leak manager guy or something, which is like, why not hire a community manager for Lego Star Wars? That's what they've honestly needed over the last 2 years, and they just don't have it. Realistically, it'll probably somewhat reduce the amount of leaks you and I see. I guess this is good for the guy that doesn't want to see leaks earlier in the episode. I was going to make a whole video about this. I just never got around to it. It's going to be like apocalyptic, like the end of Lego leaks and then just the world blowing up. But like, I don't know. Lego has always been trying, and they have never, like, the deal is there will always be people that want to know what's coming out. They will always be prying, and they will always be looking for things, and there will always be people that make mistakes and accidentally slip up and leak things. Like, it just never goes away, and I just don't think it's a terribly bad thing for Lego to have some free publicity like that anyway. You look at Hasbro, they're revealing products last weekend at HasbroCon, way better than LegoCon, by the way, that aren't coming out for well over a year. Like, it's a completely Lego-centric thing whether or not they're revealing these products this early. And the leaks, the real thing with leaks, the reason things leak with Lego is because they reveal their stuff way too late. If they revealed it like 3 months earlier, it would just never be a problem. Edgar says, do you think that Lego is going to do the big build minifigures for Star Wars like they did to Harry Potter? Yes, and I would be shocked if it was anything but Farm Boy Luke and Princess Leia. We all know that's coming. Tomei, I pronounced that right, says, we all know that the current box art is themed for each show. Don't get me wrong, I like the Vader box art, but it does not match with the prequel sets. Which character do you think should be on the box? For prequel sets, a clone trooper may be similar to the Clone Wars box art, Obi-Wan, Yoda, Palpatine. So you bring this up, and I've noticed this too. They have the 332nd Trooper for anything Clone Wars, but then for anything else prequel, it's still Darth Vader. And even for anything sequel, it's still Darth Vader now. It makes absolutely no sense why Kylo Ren is not on the box art. Like, it's half measures with Lego Star Wars forever and always. It's just the way it's gonna be. But if they were gonna do it something special for prequels, I would think Obi-Wan would be the choice. I think he's the character that's, but the other thing is they're coming out with the Obi-Wan show, he's gonna be on there, so you probably wouldn't want that mix up. So maybe like Anakin Skywalker episode 3 version would look pretty cool on the prequel set ones, or Anakin with a battle droid, something to kind of have both sides there wouldn't be bad. Maybe Anakin with Palpatine would be a pretty good representation of kind of what the prequels are about. I don't think it's as easy to pick one for the prequels, but there's definitely a good choice there if you go with like Anakin or Palpatine, I think. Or Party Don't Stop says, do you think the Lego company is relying too much on licensed themes in sets targeted for AFOLs? And is it time for them to bring back classic themes such as Castle, Western, Pirates, Space, etc.? So, I see this sentiment every once in a while. Typically among older Lego fans, it's just the way it is. I don't know how old you are, obviously. And the idea is that Lego is relying too much on like Star Wars and Harry Potter, and that it's a bad thing that Lego is relying on these things. I don't think it's that they're relying on them too much. I don't think that's bad. I think the fact of the matter is that they make most of their money from these things, and as a business in capitalism, it would make sense that they would do more of those things because they are the most profitable, because they sell the most, because they connect the most with the core audience of Lego products, and that's just the way it is. I don't find it to be a bad thing that Lego makes the most of what makes them the most money as far as themes go. I don't think they would be misguided in doing something like a Western theme again at some point. However, I don't see particularly why they would bring it back just because they rely too much on these other things. I just don't agree with your point of view there. So at least your question infers that you think that way. So yeah, I just not the way I look at it. Alexander says, if you could choose up to 3 Clone Wars era sets that deserved an updated version, which would they be and why? So now is probably a good time to tell you that this Saturday at noon Eastern is going to be the worst of first of every LEGO Star Wars The Clone Wars set, and it should be a monster video. There were 62 of them, and I spent about 4 hours live on my buddy San's Twitch channel, and we literally went through all of the Clone Wars sets to put them in order from worst to first. So we put a lot of work into this one, so hopefully you guys enjoyed the video when it comes out. But I think if we took a poll and like there was a percentage of who answered what as their top choice, these would be the 3 top choices almost unanimously. We would have the Republic dropship with AT-OT, the Republic gunship, and either an AT-TE or the Venator. Those would be the top 4, I suppose, then. And like, it just, those are the sets that have become so prohibitively expensive on the secondary market that so many people seem to desire and talk about. And I mean, I think if you look at the viewership of the videos that reviews of these sets get when I do them and talk about them, like it's pretty obvious that there's a pretty big desire for a lot of these to make a comeback. So yeah, I mean, the Venator certainly needs to be reworked because the original design is just objectively bad. As much as I like it, I can see through those rose tinted glasses. It's just not that good. You know, the AT-TE is just overdue and expensive now. Republic gunship for obvious reasons, and the Republic dropship with AT-OT now costs, I don't know, like $1,500 sealed. Like a friend of mine offered to sell me one about a year ago for $1,000, and I was like, yeah, I don't know, $1,000, that's a lot of money. I don't really want to spend that. I already have one that I have in pretty nice condition. And now it's worth like $1,500, so hopefully he ended up getting more money for his when he sold it. But nonetheless, like, point being, these things are going up at absurd rates, and like LEGO has gone out of their way to re-release other things that were worth nowhere near what these are worth. And I obviously think they deserve an updated version because of their legendary status. Next question from Video House JSQ says, which Star Wars trilogy do you think has the best LEGO set adaptations altogether? Prequels, sequels, or originals? I would be misguided if I said anything but the original trilogy having the best sets. I mean, hands down, it's what LEGO puts the most care into. It's not to say there aren't some duds in there like the Assault on Hoth, but for the most part, I mean, no other trilogy has a motorized walking walker, the AT-AT. Come on now, it's pretty dope. The UCS AT-AT is coming out. The Falcon, the Star Destroyer, they're all epic. I mean, the AT, like, the blatant disregard for a lot of the prequel sets makes it impossible to pick them. I think the sequels were pretty well done. However, because the movies were coming out and they were making the sets as the movies came out, there were some pretty big inaccuracies with some of those sets. Plus, you have the First Order AT-ST, even though it's accurate, it's just like, come on now, it's not a good set. I think if you had to pick a trilogy that has the best body of work, it's got to be the original trilogy. Some good stuff in there for sure. Swanbrick says, what are the chances they use the same miscolored helmet / jetpack for the Book of Boba Fett sets? The last time I checked, LEGO, still LEGO. 100%. I guarantee. Big topic from last week was about gender bias, and I got a lot of great replies from you guys about, you know, good applications of this and how it applies to LEGO. And so this one from Zach was just the one I had picked to read, and he says, hey M&R, with regards to the gender bias question, LEGO plans to remove the ability to search for sets based on gender and instead base it off of interest. This has all come about after a study they commissioned found a lot of boys feared being bullied if they played with girls' toys, and that generally attitudes to play and future careers are unequal. Fundamentally, they just want people to buy sets based on interest rather than police for boys, friends for girls, for example. Hope this makes sense. Love the content. Yeah, I think that does make a lot more sense than what I was saying last week. I still, like, you're still going to end up, like, at the end of the day, like, friend sets are obviously geared towards girls, and, like, City isn't, and that's just the way it is. So it is interesting that, like, I had heard this put that in, like, LEGO stores. If you go to a LEGO store, you're like, hey, I want to buy a set for my daughter. You know, they don't walk you over to the girls section. They ask you, what does your daughter like? Which makes sense. I think it's a pretty sensible way to approach it. I appreciate the explanation, and hopefully this explanation helped a lot of other people understand it better. It's interesting. So probably not going to have any real impact on the actual product that we see. It's just literally the way they categorize things. Wilmart Yao says, will there be another Playscale Falcon anytime soon? Torn between getting the 2019 set or waiting for the next Playscale Falcon. Love your channel, by the way. I'd go out and get the 2019 one. It's the best one they've made so far. Not to say the next one wouldn't be better, of course. That's, you know, it's the best iPhone yet every time, right? If you can always get in that cycle and you're like, oh, we'll just wait for the next one. It'll be better, obviously. You know, they could downscale it, though, of course, and if you're not into that, you'd want to stay away, but we don't know that. Point being, as far as I can tell, the Falcon's not retiring yet, which means it's definitely geared up for a longer runtime, and I'm surprised they didn't just change the box art on it so that it matched everything else with the white labels on the top and the bottom, but they didn't. You can get the set on sale for like $125, maybe even better with Black Friday coming up, so you could definitely get a good deal on it, and I would just say go out and get that one if you want a Playscale Falcon. It's really good. Finally, from Richard Carter, as far as sets that could go along with all of the Imperial Hoth stuff, he says, what about something on the Rebellion side? How about a Rebel troop transport? It's something we've never had, as in the transporters that made the escape during the assault on Hoth, covered by the ion cannon. Could be a great set with lots of interior features and should have 5 to 6 Hoth-themed Rebel minifigures, at least a couple being exclusive. I'd definitely buy it. Dude, I'd buy it too. I'm shocked they've never done that. 40th anniversary of Empire Strikes Back, pass them up, they didn't do it. It would make sense to do it in the summer of next year. I could see it being one of, you know, much in the way the Resistance ITS transport, like a $100 Target exclusive. That would fit in perfectly there. Now, for that to happen, you know, I think the way it works with these stores, Amazon, Walmart, Target, they get some say in which set they're getting as an exclusive or what LEGO makes for them to carry as an exclusive. I think. I don't know that for a fact, but that's what I've heard. So I think you would have to have someone there kind of bring it up in some meeting somewhere at some point. Maybe. Regardless, even if it wasn't an exclusive set, as a $100 set with 6 minifigs, it would be spectacular. I'd love to see it one day. So definitely a great suggestion there, Richard. And that is it for this Ask M&R Productions. I can finally take this thing off. I can pump my baby Yoda back up. If you have any questions you want answered on next week's episode, you can leave them down in the comments section below. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the like button if you enjoyed. Bye.